Meade is a genius, but he is very bright and even more eccentric. They called him the Spaceman, and the name fit Bill Lee to a T.
The city of Moncton, a sleepy Canadian town nestled in the heart of New Brunswick, one of the 4 maritime provinces. If you've got the chance, it's a great place to fish. And Bill Lee, who's currently playing semi-pro baseball in Moncton, has plenty of time for hobbies like fishing. 10 years ago, Fenway Park in Boston was home to Bill Lee. To some, he was the Spaceman. But when it came to pitching, his style was close to the ground.
I kept the ball down, kept the ball in the infield, didn't walk anybody, kept the ball in the ballpark. Everybody's ready to play. You work as fast as you can, and that keeps everybody on their toes. Even when I pitched behind, I pitched well because I worked fast. And I would take a little off. 2-1, 3-1, I'd take a little off my fastball. I'd choke it back, I'd get more sink on it. Guys would be more aggressive at the plate. They'd hit more ground balls to Burles.
Good pitching and great hitting brought Boston to the '75 World Series. Bill Lee started 2 games and pitched reasonably well, but his contributions were overshadowed by the likes of Fisk and Tiant, Rose, Morgan, and even Bernie Carbo. It was Carbo who came off the bench with 2 out in the 8th inning of Game 6 and crushed this 3-run home run that tied it all up and set the stage for Fisk's 12th inning heroics. But the following season, Carbo was traded, and Bill Lee made his displeasure known.
2 pitch hit home runs in the '75 World Series, and how was he rewarded? His wife was pregnant. He had bought a house in Massachusetts. He was all ready to go. They told him he was on the club, and the last day of spring training, they sent him to Milwaukee. That was disgusting. That's the hardest thing I could take about baseball.
In '78, the Red Sox bitterly lost their division to the Yankees. As the Sox skidded, Lee sat. He was no longer in favor with manager Don Zimmer.
Bill Lee's lost 6 in a row. He's 10-10. So we got 4 games with the Yankees, and so he's got a 12-4 lifetime record against the Yankees. You know, we're going to win it without Bill Lee. Didn't work that way, Don. Didn't work that way. Bucky Dent, long fly ball left field. You can tell it goodbye. And I was gone after that game, too. I was traded on December 7th. Pearl Harbor Day.
It was goodbye, Boston. Bonjour, Montreal. A new league, a new city, and a new look for Bill Lee. In his first season with the Expos, Lee was outstanding with a 16-10 record and a 3.04 ERA. Although never winning big, the Expos had a good young team, and Lee thought second baseman Rodney Scott was a big reason why. But in 1982, Montreal released Scott, and once again, Lee took a stand in behalf of a teammate.
He was cool breeze, and when you're cool breeze, how can they want you to be hyperactive and be, you know, you have the nickname, and if you're nonchalant, they say you're lethargic, you're a shifty nigger, things like that. He was the furthest thing from lethargic. They treated him really poorly in Montreal, and I said, that's it. I said, when you start treating guys like that, you know, using him as a scapegoat, I said, I ain't showing up today.
These days, Bill Lee shows up for the semi-pro Moncton Mets. After walking out in Montreal, he was soon given his own release from the Expos. This past spring, Lee had a tryout with the Phoenix Giants, San Francisco's AAA farm team. It was no surprise to him that he didn't make that club, but Lee is convinced he can still pitch.
I got an ERA of 0.55. I still give up some long home runs, so that means I'm still throwing hard. Heck, the funny thing is, I was in spring training, and I knew I wasn't going to get a shot. But anyway, one day they brought the jugs gun out, and they were timing me, and I didn't ask anything. And finally, a guy comes up after me and says, Bill, you know how hard you were throwing? I said, 84 miles an hour. I said, I didn't throw that hard when I pitched for the Red Sox. I didn't throw that hard for 4 years. I said, I get people out because I don't throw hard. I said, I know I can pitch. You know? Let the hitters prove I can't pitch.
Playing semi-pro ball in Eastern Canada may not be the quickest route back to the big league. But as always, Bill Lee does things on his own terms, whether or not he has a price to pay.
I am happy, you know, but there's that one little side of me, you know, the left arm has been cut off, more or less. And if you're not allowed to, if I'm not allowed to use my left arm, you know, I'll take up golf right-handed, you know. But I love to pitch. I love to go to my mouth and get rosin. You know, I love to feel that tackiness of the ball. I love to throw sinkers in the dirt, you know, and I love to throw sliders. And that had been taken away from me. But, you know, if 9/10 of me is happy, then, you know, the majority of me is happy.
Bill Lee may feel like he's living in exile, but if so, it's nice to know there's always fishing.
Yeah, the rain's good for fish.
That's right. That's exactly. First day I want to go fishing, first day it's rain in 12 days. Boy, my luck.
Coming up next, we'll conclude our one-on-one with the incomparable O.J. Simpson when Strohs' Circle of Sports continues.